Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More. We're back with another video, an update on the office break-in that I had yesterday. Actually, it happened over the weekend, but we discovered it yesterday, and it's been quite the crazy whirlwind since then. So we found out a ton of information about what's going on. The police have been finding out a lot of information as well, and we keep figuring out new stuff that got stolen. It's just hard to know exactly what you had and what went missing. Especially when things are kind of a mess and not where you thought they were. So it's been pretty crazy, and we've had even crazier stuff happen since the last couple of videos I've posted and things that we've discovered. We think the people came to our office at least 5 times, and we have full surveillance footage in this video that I'll show you. I know it's super long, but below I'll try and point out where the changes in footage stop. If you want to fast forward, go to those, whatever. And then another lady came into our office at 3 a.m. one morning, and we'll talk about that and why that happened too. So it's been pretty crazy. We love the likes, love the shares, love the comments. That makes me feel slightly better. And we'll definitely have more updates on this too as things progress. So here is the footage, and I'll talk a little bit about that and let the footage run after that. All right, so here's our footage, and this camera shows our parking lot, and that truck pulling over on the right is the truck that ended up breaking in. They came from that direction every time, which I thought would give me a hint, but later on we figured out it might not. But this camera here has caught a lot of crazy stuff in our parking lot. Over the years, we've had crazy campers abandoned here, people living in their campers, people living in a van, squatters sleeping along the fence, people living in the dumpster, semis parking in my lot, just a lot of crazy stuff. And this isn't an area I would be scared to live in or walk around or anything like that. I walk around here all the time, park my cars here all the time. But for whatever reason, this parking lot attracts a lot of people. I think just big parking lots in general attract people. They think they can park there. They think they can hang out there. This is part of a 68,000 square foot building. There's a grocery store, my real estate office, coffee shop, restaurant, a dance studio. So it is a big place, and a lot of people just think, oh, you can just park, do whatever you want in those parking lots, but it is private property. And yes, our dance studio, if you saw that video over the weekend, uses all of our lot sometimes, especially on the weekend. So there is a reason why we don't let semis and park here. There's a reason why we don't let homeless people hang out in the dumpster when there's little girls leaving at night sometimes. So it's just a safety issue and also a maintenance issue. When you have a giant semi parking on the lot, it can really detract from the pavement integrity. So back to this story. The truck parked there. This is the first time they came to the office from what I could see, looking back at footage. I spent so much time looking at footage. It has been insane. And we think this is where they were taking my lockbox. So I had a lockbox outside the front door. If I forgot my keys, if my wife forgot her keys, someone else forgot their keys, you could use it and get into the office. And kind of in the back of my mind, I always thought, I wonder if this is the best idea or not, but it never articulated into enough of an idea that I did anything about it. Now, obviously, looking back, I'm like, ooh, maybe we should have done that. So we think they came here, knew the lockbox was there, cut off the lockbox, and that's what they're doing at this point. You can kind of see them a little bit going to or in and out of their truck, and it's just outside the range of my camera, just on the left, so you can't really see where the lockbox is. But that was one big hint. Justin is the one who first discovered the break-in on Monday morning. The front door was open, the lights were all on, and he told me, hey, someone broke in, there's stuff everywhere, they broke things. And I said, is the lockbox still there? And he looked outside, he's like, nope, it's gone. So they had taken the lockbox. They had a key to the building basically all weekend long, and pretty crazy. So they came here. This is 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I had been there actually Saturday afternoon. I locked up, turned all the lights off. I checked the cameras and made sure I did that, because in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, did I not lock the doors? Did I leave all these lights on? Did I mess up? My daughter was actually dancing at the dance studio next door, and I was cleaning my fish tank on Saturday while she was doing that, and thought nothing of it. So here you can see they're leaving. They take off, and this is 3 a.m., I believe, on that Saturday, late Saturday night or early Sunday morning, whatever you want to call it. And so the first hint I got that something bad was going on was actually Sunday about 7 p.m. I got a text message and email from Capital One saying, hey, someone's trying to buy $1,500 worth of stuff at Best Buy. And it was actually Nikki's card, and she has a card to buy supplies and different things. And I text her, I'm like, hey, you're not trying to buy something at Best Buy right now? And she's like, no, I'm sure not. I'm like, okay, that would have been kind of weird. And so I declined the purchase. And in the back of my head, I thought, I wonder if someone is thinking about breaking or broke in. I'm like, no, that could never happen. Must just be something weird. We've had that before. And here I fast forward the video. Here's the white truck coming back again. And this is at like 3:50 a.m. or 3:45 a.m., I believe. They're coming back, and we believe they had gone back, gotten the lockbox open, drilled it, whatever they did, got the key out, and now we're coming back. Every time they arrived, they kind of drove around the parking lot, scoped things out to make sure nobody was close, then came back over. So we discovered, like I said, that first hint was the Best Buy purchase. Then Justin figured it out. We got broke in. I posted a video yesterday showing me driving up to the office and looking at everything for the first time. Lots of drawers opened, a couple drawers broken, a few things all over. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't like ransacked. It didn't break windows or anything like that. And here we get the first look at the person who infiltrated my office. And either that's the craziest red hair ever or a wig. And they were wearing a mask, kind of hard to see, but we do have much better footage inside of them. And like I said, they kept coming back. So I kept getting more and more footage. But you can see, parked their truck right there and went inside. And we don't think this was targeted towards me. We'll talk about that in just a second. We found out a lot of information, as I said. And we think this was a targeted business, but not targeted specifically because of me. So I've had a lot of people comment and say, oh, you know, with all the stuff you post online, you posted your quarters, you post different stuff, they came after you because of that. And that's kind of the best picture I've seen of that guy. It's really hard to look at like 5 hours of footage. But I think that's the best video we have of the second guy going into the building. So you can see there's also a driver as well. So there are at least 3 people, and we have better footage of who we think the driver was the next day. And they backed their truck up so nice so that we could get a peek at their plate. However, at night in the dark, it's real hard to see it. But just wait till tomorrow, and you'll see, well, tomorrow from the video, the plate clear as day. All right, so they're in there doing their thing. And some people said it looked like they knew exactly where they were going. They went right for the money, although we didn't have much money in there. But really, when you look at all the footage, they were just randomly walking around. I don't think they knew what they were looking for. I don't think they had any idea where things were. They were looking all over the place. I do have a pretty big office, and we think they just kind of took their time, looked for drawers that were locked, things like that, because apparently that's, you know, where people keep their important things, and that's what they were searching for. So all the things they ended up taking, like I said, they broke one drawer where we usually we have some things in there, but I think it was empty. I don't think there's much in there. We had a few credit cards that are used for buying supplies and different things, so they did steal those. I had a lot of checks in the office. So many bank accounts, and so many bank accounts now have to be closed and opened up again because they stole our checks. Took a lot of checks. They took my camera and my camera bag. I had a nice Sony camera that I shot videos with. The gimbal that, you know, I used with it was also in there. Bunch of SD memory cards, mics, different things. I may have had some, I don't know if I had anything else in that bag or not, can't remember, but that was an expensive bag. Luckily, looking at the positive side of it, I got a new phone like 3 weeks ago, and I've been shooting all my videos with my phone now, and so I haven't even been using that camera. Sucks they stole it. Obviously, I'd rather have it than not have it, but it would have been so much worse had that been my main form of filming still. So luckily, sucks I lost it, but I don't use it as much anymore, so that's one bright side of it. So they took that. They took a lot of, Nikki has some coins, some $1 coins that we actually used to win at our old office before I started this one. Probably $40 or $50 worth of those. That was some weird camera footage right there we just saw, huh? I wonder what that was. Maybe a bug. And then took a bunch of my quarters. So luckily, another bright side of this, and Nikki kind of rubs that in my face a little bit because I might not have done it if it wasn't for her. I had $1,500, $1,600 worth of quarters in here from our coin-op laundry machines. And I took those home. Actually, I had a partner, gave him half. I took the other half and took all those home a month or two ago. Now I was collecting more quarters because we have 3 properties with a washer and dryer, so 6 total machines that are coin-op. And I was collecting more. I probably had, if I had to guess, $400, $500 in quarters here, in that range. And another bright side, they left me $53 worth that they spilled on the floor and on the desk. So if they were really after the quarters, I think they would have taken their time to grab all those and not been as haphazard as they were. And there's probably a few dollars more behind my desk and hiding under stuff that I haven't found yet either. So another bright side, they didn't take all of my quarters. One really, really annoying thing, and this might be the most annoying thing of all, they took the coin-op laundry keys. So I had those keys. They took them, and they're gone. And I don't know exactly. We've talked to a locksmith who said he can replace the keys, but it might be $200 for each key. I talked to an appliance repair place. They said they can't replace them. I thought about just replacing the trays if possible, if that works. I don't know. So if people have any ideas on how you can somewhat cheaply replace the keys or rekey those laundry bins, love to hear that. I don't want to use the same key because, like I said, they have them. I can't remember for sure if we have any addresses on those keys or the bags they were in, but there might be. So I definitely want to rekey them. Don't want to leave that. We also, I think, are going to work on putting cameras in those laundry rooms too, just in case they do try and come over and use those as well. So that was the most annoying thing probably out of all of it, is that I lost my laundry keys. But we'll get that fixed. And my son owns one of those machines too. And I was talking to him about it. He's 11, and he's like, "This means I don't get any quarters this week, doesn't it?" I'm like, "Yep, pretty sure it means we're not getting quarters this week." So I'll have to figure out too, because we talked about he would also be responsible for the expenses of these machines. And boy, I don't know if I can blame him, because the keys were in my possession at my office. It was kind of under my watch that they got stolen. It's not like he lost them. So I'll have to think about that one. But we'll see how that all plays out. But he did save and worked really hard to buy a washing machine from me, and it's been doing really well for him. It's definitely been worth the investment, but we'll see how that works out here in the future. And with the other, the Ocho, the 8-plex we have, I had just gone through the biggest pain to get our washer replaced, and it just got working, and now this happened. So we had a washing machine that had problems, stopped working, then it started working, then stopped and started working. We ordered a new one, got the new washer. It didn't work, so we had to wait for warranty work. They came out, took weeks and weeks and weeks, finally got that replaced and working, and I have not even emptied that tray yet of quarters, and now the keys have been stolen. So that's frustrating and annoying. But at least the people can still use the machines. They work now, so that's the important part, but I just can't collect any change from it. Although maybe somebody can who stole the money. Anyway. All right, so those were most of the things that were stolen. And then I'm trying to think if there was anything else. The credit cards, they tried to buy numerous things at Best Buy. A few purchases went through. We were working on getting video footage of Best Buy, showing those people. They tried to buy stuff at McDonald's, at Dollar Tree, at some other places. We're also working on getting the footage from there as well. We'll see how all that works out. And the big one did not go through. They got money out of an ATM somehow because one of the cards was a debit card. We don't know how that happened, if they somehow randomly found the PIN in one of our drawers, but we would not have kept them together, so that was weird. We're still trying to figure out how that happened, but maybe there's footage there as well. Trying to work on that too. And then, let's see, that actually, by them using those cards and them trying to buy stuff with them, took it from a break-in, trespassing, then them stealing money, stealing checks and cards, made it burglary, and now using those cards upped it to identity theft. So the policeman who helped us was actually pretty excited. You know, he wasn't glad that they did it. I don't want to say that, but he was like, that really bumps it up our tier of importance. It bumps up their punishment, the level of crime. If we can catch them, that actually helps that part of it. Obviously, it sucks if they try to do those things, but it helps as far as the resources they'll put into it and the punishment that they may get. So we'll see if they're caught. We'll see how all that goes. Now, after it happened, I called the police at 7:54 a.m. It did take them until about 10 to get there, maybe a little bit before 10. So that was a little frustrating, but they got here, and we got lots of help from them. So once they showed up and they said, hey, we were real busy, we apologize, there's lots of active crimes going on. We know there's no burglar actively here, so it doesn't get high priority. But it was Officer Hunter. Amazing help. So I know there's been so many stories about the police not doing anything, not helping out. We've had a few stories like that ourselves, where we actually had a hit and run in our parking lot where we think a drunk person ran into my parents' car a few years ago and had it on video on camera, showed the police, and they're just like, oh yeah, it's private property, we can't do anything. And I had to argue with them and say, hey, you ran into the car. Like, we have it on camera. Like, that's, you know, you have to do more than just say it's not your problem. And eventually they did help and called the guy, and we found him. So anyway, but in this case, they were extremely helpful. I don't know all the stuff he was putting into the truck. Again, that's one of the frustrating things, is who knows if we'll ever remember or find out all the stuff that was taken. But he talked us through it. He looked at the video footage with me for an hour at least. We went through all this footage, and he's like, because it's easy to skip, you know, I can skip to the green parts on the footage is the motion detector, right? And I can skip to that and fast forward, and he's like, for the whole weekend, you need to look at every single green mark and see if you can see them. And I thought, oh yeah, that's a waste of time. I'm not going to do that. But when I actually did that, that's when I found them arriving multiple times, found the truck here multiple times. So that was actually well worth doing that. The police also asked all of us, you know, what happened, asked us, you know, quite a few questions. And then from the footage, he was able to take pictures, get screenshots of the faces as much as he could, of the truck, of the plates, all those things. And then we were able to see where one of the guys was actually touching stuff, because one guy had gloves, one guy did not. The guy who just ran in had just his bare hands. And he found out where he touched stuff. Actually, my fish tank, he opened up the bottom of my fish tank. He opened up another cabinet drawer we haven't touched forever. And he took fingerprints from there and DNA samples. So he took DNA samples from him. He asked, you know, hey, who's the one who touches the fish tank? I'm like, it's only me who's touched it for a long time. So he took a DNA sample from me to make sure it wasn't my DNA. Really cool how they're doing that. And he did spend a lot of time with us. And since then has followed up with me over and over again. Sent me numerous emails, called me, pretty much told me any break in the case or anything that's happening. So, which is good, because when he left, he's like, here's your case number. If you don't hear from me, it means nothing's happening. If there is anything happening, I will let you know. I will call you. And I'm like, cool. Thank you very much. And he has been emailing me and calling me, which means things have been happening, which is kind of nice. So that the police have been great. The cameras have been nice. And while it sucks, you know, it could have been way worse. Nobody was hurt. You know, they didn't like destroy the windows or hurt my fish tank or anything like that. They're mostly just looking for stuff. So on that aspect, it could have been much, much worse. All right. So when I looked at those cameras, obviously we're still looking at the first night. It's still 3:50 or 4 a.m. or something like that on Saturday night. They kept coming back. So they were here for maybe 45 minutes, half an hour, quite a while. And then the next day, they came back at 4 p.m., and I'll show that footage here after this footage. And like I said, after I'm done talking, or even right now, if you want to fast forward, it won't bother me any. You can fast forward and see the next footage. I'll try and break it down below what times that happens at. and they come back at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon during the day, hang out in the parking lot for a second, leave. Then they come back at like 4:45 p.m., go back in the office, take more stuff. We have more footage of them inside. And that time, we don't know if it was the driver from this time, but another lady gets out of the car, moves the truck. So we have some footage of her. We might also have some footage of her at Best Buy buying stuff. We're not sure yet. So that was interesting. And then they stay another half an hour, probably maybe 45 minutes. The next night, Monday morning, they show up again at 2 a.m. and park their truck right here for a good 15, 20 minutes just sitting there. And this is the really crazy part. A lady from the apartments next door walks over and is just staring at them. And eventually, I don't know if they saw her for a while and waiting for her to leave or what. They see her, they take off. And we thought, oh, that was nice of her. You know, maybe she would have called the cops or something like that. No, she decided to go into the building. So she walks in the building, walks around, takes a flyer, takes one of our business cards, and just leaves. And it was funny because the next day we're looking at this footage. We hadn't seen it yet. And Kara in my office says, I've seen that lady. She's outside all the time in the apartments. And she goes over, looks out our kitchen window. She's like, she's right there. She's in her car. And so the police officer goes out there. She's there. He talks to her. And she's like, oh, yeah. I saw the truck over there, and I saw them going in, or I've seen them going in and out of the office the last couple nights or last night. So I thought you were open. So when I saw them leave, I walked in trying to talk to somebody. We're like, probably not open at 3 a.m., but and maybe when you saw all the stuff thrown around, you know, that would have been a hint. But that was interesting. So at least she didn't steal anything herself. And they both, one of the guys in the truck took a flyer too. So you'll see that later on in the video if you watch the whole thing. He took one of these flyers, and it wasn't even one of our flyers. It was like a moving flyer a vendor had left for us. So apparently that flyer is something we should copy because it is a very, very popular flyer. Although I'm not sure who its main target audience is, if that's the case. So that was weird. And we have that on footage too. That's towards the end. And yeah, they ran out real quick. So I don't know. They got spooked. They heard something. Someone saw them or what. But yeah, I wonder if they have like a police scanner or something, right? They might have a police scanner in there. And they're nice enough not to run over the cones. Those are the cones left over from the dance studio's crazy weekend parking. So that was nice of them not to do that, I guess. And then, yeah, they take off, and then they are gone for that night. So it wasn't 45 minutes. It was more like 15 minutes or so, maybe, that they were in there. But then they come back the next day. So where we are right now with the investigation and what is going on, we've had a few different things come up, ideas, breaks. So what we've learned, sometimes when I was editing, I didn't get it all the way perfect, so sorry about that. There's a lot to look at. There we go. There's the white truck again, coming the same way, and this is Sunday the next day. All right, so we got pictures of their face. I posted those on my Facebook page, on my Instagram page. If you haven't seen those, check those out. I think on my YouTube too. We have them up there. At least the one person's face, they still have a mask on, but they've still got a pretty identifying either piercing or tattoo or something on their cheek. We don't know if the bright red hair is real or not. This is them scoping out the place again. And then we have that DNA maybe that may not come through. But with that picture in this truck, we were really, really hoping the truck would give us more information because we saw clear as day the plate here in a second. But the truck was stolen. The plates were stolen. So the police officer was able to tell us that morning the plates were stolen. They come back to a black Camry, and he didn't know about the truck. Later on, he called me back because someone on Facebook said, hey, that's my father-in-law's truck. It was just stolen. I thought, sure, right. You know, people say that all the time. But no, it really did turn out that was the truth. So I posted the pictures, the story on my Facebook page, on a Greeley, Colorado community page, on my Invest for More page. And that person said that. So the truck was stolen, so not much luck there. But someone messaged me and said, hey, I think I know that person. I think it's a girl, not a guy. And they sent me some Facebook pictures and their name. And so I was researching it. I'm like, man, this looks really similar. So sent that to the police officer, told him what was going on. He called me. We talked about it. He said, boy, it looks similar. I'll look into it. Looked up their name. He's like, oh, I found them right here. I've got an old address. I'll check that out. And so we're trying to figure, hey, maybe it will lead somewhere. But it still, wasn't a perfect way to tell because they still had a mask around their nose and mouth. You could just see their eyes and cheeks and maybe forehead a little bit. So later, the police officer did email me and say, hey, I don't think that's your suspect. I think it's actually a male suspect. So we're trying to figure that out now. I haven't heard anything new, but they are working it. They're trying to find him, and by him saying that, hopefully that means that they actually might have somebody in mind. So that'd be fantastic. And then ironically, one of my contractors texted me and said, hey, check out this guy on Facebook. Someone told me that it was him who did it. So that's all the information I had on that. No idea about how they know that or what they know that. So I also passed that information on to the police, and I'm waiting to hear if that means anything, although that's a pretty long shot there. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully we can end up finding him. Everyone's got an eye out for this truck, which was actually stolen October 8th, 10 days ago. So they've been driving it for a while, so it's not like they just stole it and plan to ditch it right away, although they could have ditched it by now. And I was kind of hesitant about posting stuff on Facebook too or YouTube. So I'm like, I don't want them to, see me posting this and then ditch the truck. But I also have no information and know who they are. So it's probably better to get this information out there and see if someone else might have seen the truck or know the people than to worry about tipping them off. So that was just kind of my thinking, and we decided to let that go and post some of this stuff. So I think that is all the updates I have for right now. Like I said, the truck came back again here, this time for good, showed us their plates. The lady got out, drove it, and we'll have lots more footage here inside where you can see the people better and some of the crazy things they did, like taking the flyer and using an Etch-a-Sketch to try and break a camera unsuccessfully, moving chairs and different things. So quite the interesting events and stories. And since I posted this stuff online, not only we get people saying, oh, we might know these people, but I had another office reach out to me, another real estate office. They were broken into a couple weeks ago. Exact same scenarios, exact same things were taken, drawers were broken, almost exactly the same situation. Then we found out Pro Realty, where I used to work, had their drop boxes broken into. They're very close to here. So we know at least 2 other real estate offices were targeted. And then I heard 2 other businesses. I don't know what kind they were, but someone had told me they were broken into. They had lock boxes as well. So I don't think these thieves were targeting me specifically. We think they were targeting specific businesses or looking for businesses that had lock boxes. They knew they could get into them. And that is how our office became a target. So for those who said it was me who did it, maybe, but I think the evidence is pointing towards more of a random thing. And just, don't keep your lockbox out there easy to see is more of a better strategy. All right, so we're still looking for the truck. You can see it's got a dent on the front hood there. Hopefully we'll see it. Who knows? They may have gotten rid of it. We're still looking for the people. The police are still working on it, and we'll have any updates for any new information that comes out. So make sure you stick around on this channel. Love seeing new subscribers. We'll have updates on Instagram, my Facebook page as well. Love the likes, comments, shares. Keep those coming, and enjoy the rest of the footage as it will just keep running. And like I said, below I'll try and target or pinpoint where some of the big changes are if you want to fast forward to those.